welcome to my workshop. My name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video I want to make a featherboard for my table saw Rage 5S. Okay, simple thing. Let's head over to my miter saw station. Now for my project I'm going to be using this 18mm MDF board. However, you know, if you don't have MDF you can use really whatever you've got available in your workshop, whatever scraps you've got. I found this in my workshop and that's what I'm going to be using. Now at the start of this video I want to show you how to make the featherboard itself, and later on I'm going to talk about the safety on how to use it correctly and actually why would you like to use it in the first place. So stick around and make sure to watch the whole video. In my project I'm going to be using a miter saw to do the feathers. I'm going to change the miter to 45 degrees. Now my blade on my miter saw is 250mm, and without sliding the miter saw I can actually get feathers that are about roughly 11 centimeters long, and in my case that will be plenty. To make sure the feathers are spaced equally I'm actually using plastic spacers. Okay, so I'm using 2 of them and the space between the feathers will be about 4mm. So a very simple process, just carry on through the whole board. However, if you've got a smaller miter saw, you know, you may need to do some jigging about to make sure you've got the correct length of your feathers. To be fair, you can use a jigsaw, you can use your table saw, or you can even use your bandsaw to cut these out. For me, the quickest way is to use the miter saw, as you can see. Now, as you know, MDF is a horrible stuff, and if you're cutting it a lot, make sure you've got a good dust extraction, which I don't. It's okay, but it's definitely not great. Therefore, always wear a mask. Today, I'm rocking this one from Trend, so think about your safety. It's definitely worth protecting your lungs. Now I'm going to use my bandsaw to cut out exactly what I need. Next, on my pillar drill, as you can see, I'm just pre-drilling a series of holes in a line. I'm going to do it on both sides of this featherboard. This will allow us to thread through a bolt that will help us to attach the whole featherboard to our table saw. And now with the rasp, I'm just going to clean out the channels. Okay, so we've got our featherboard. That's what I went for. That's the design I'm going to be using. Now it's time to figure out how we're going to actually attach it to our table saw. Now if you've got Rage 5 like me, the miter slot that's running over here is in a shape of a basically a T-track. Okay, so it's in a shape of a T. So what I can use is, for example, this washer. It's 24mm in diameter and it fits perfectly in that opening, and obviously you'll not be able to pull it up. Okay, however, we also need a bolt, so the question is how are we going to connect both of them. Now I've got 3 options for you depending on what you can do. You can weld both of these together if you've got the ability to weld them. However, you can also use 5-minute epoxy, and that will be super strong as well and you will have no issues. But again, that's something that not everybody has. Now let's try hot glue. Not sure if it's going to work. Let's have a look if it's going to hold both of these parts together in a strong fashion, strong enough for this to work. As the base, I'm using a melamine board, so the hot glue won't stick to it too hard. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Let's fill up the gap, just like so, and then the bolt goes inside. Make sure it's more or less in the middle and it's level. Well, as you might have guessed it, this is definitely not working at all. Okay, so in that case, 5-minute epoxy. Let's see if this will be any better. And as always guys, 5-minute epoxy never fails. Strong, solid like anything, will work absolutely fantastically. Okay, let's put everything together. On top, couple of washers and some plastic knobs I've got. Okay, we can set it up wherever we need that, closer to the blade, depending if we've got something wider then it needs to be a little bit away from the blade, let's say just over here. And now I'm going to tell you the tip on how to use a featherboard on your table saw correctly and safely. Check this out, it's very important. So as you are pushing your wood through and it's ripping it into two parts, okay, this piece goes as it should, straight through. However, on this piece, as you get to this part where both of them are not connected to each other, okay, so this is free moving. Remember, we've put some pressure on the feathers so they are holding the piece of wood against the fence. But now, where this piece of wood is disconnected from this one and there is no fence, the featherboard will be pushing this piece against the blade itself. So, worst case scenario, it will tilt that piece of wood and the blade will grab it and kick it right at you. And you've got a kickback guaranteed each time. Therefore, you need to make sure that the featherboard is away from the blade, like so. And as both of the pieces go through a point where they are both disconnected, there is no featherboard putting pressure against this piece, which would put pressure against the blade itself. Very important thing when using a featherboard on a table saw. Okay, so I've set up the featherboard, I've got my fence, that's the piece of wood I want to cut through. And as you are pushing the wood through, as you can see, the feathers are actually tilting away, okay? So they are putting pressure on the piece of wood, so it's not gonna go anywhere, it's pushed against the fence itself. As you are pushing it through, what it also will do, it will prevent for that wood to actually go back at you, so it will help with kickback as well. Now, as you know how to operate a featherboard correctly and safely on your table saw, you may ask yourself a question, well, why do I actually need it? As you were cutting a piece of lumber on your table saw, you need to put pressure on the piece of wood that will go against the fence itself, so it goes along the fence, plus you need to hold it from the top to make sure the piece of wood will not shoot back at you, and you need to push it through. Okay, now if you've got a longer piece, for example, you know, you need to feed it through, and on this side it could cause some issues trying to hold it against the fence and hold the longer piece. Yes, you can have some in-feed table, anything like that. However, the featherboard will help you and eliminate the need for putting pressure against the fence. You just need to feed it through like so. So it's definitely a great helper if you've got a table saw and you do a lot of repetitive cuts, okay? Because sometimes it's just the fatigue of holding the piece constantly against the fence and on the top that can cause you problems, i.e. you're going to make a mistake and you're going to hurt yourself or ruin your project. Hence, a featherboard is an absolutely fantastic little helper as long as it's used correctly. Now, as you've seen, it's a really simple thing to make. Okay, today I made one for my table saw. However, you can also make a featherboard that you can attach to your table saw fence, and it will put pressure going downwards as well. If you're interested in that solution, for example for this Rage 5 table saw, let me know down below in the comments and I'll make another video for you. Same, you can make the featherboard for your router table as well. Again, if you're interested to see that, let me know and I'll produce a video for you as well on how you can utilize what you've got. Now I hope this little video was informative to you. The project itself, as you can see, it's super simple to make. You don't need any special tools for it. A mitre saw will do just fine, and a handsaw as well. So if you did enjoy this video, drop me that like button down below and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for some future videos. However, I also make a lot of videos and improvements around the workshop that you may be interested in. There's a playlist just over here. Go and check it out and I'll see you on those videos. Take care.